This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. Look at there, you can see blue, Chloe's outside, but there he is, okay, back in his old spot. I have him duct taped down. Did you hear what Gray said? He duct taped his dog. How's everybody doing? Lynette Burns is fine, everybody. Everybody's like, hey, get a hold of Lynette Burns. Hey, what's happening? Yeah, I mean, she was just goofing around. I mean, I actually talked to her today, and she makes the same sounds. I guess we just forgot, because she called in a long time ago, too. Maybe it's a new sound that she makes. Okay, but she's doing fine, everybody. She's a normal person. You know, albeit the sounds that she was making aren't normal, but I mean, she's a normal person. She's smart, you know. She's not some weirdo, you know. So just kind of, it's okay, all right. I mean, my God, there's comment after comment. I had to delete one. I mean, just who gives it? You guys focus in on the weirdest shit, man. I gotta tell you, it's like, who cares, you know? Hold on a second. Yeah, I don't mind if you ask me something behind the scenes, but man, when you make an actual comment under a video, and then 10 people have to comment underneath it, that's where it gets a little much, right? I mean, just, you know, everybody has a shitty day, or they say weird, you know, they might sound weird or whatever. Just, you know, don't make it a bigger deal. So anyways, I'm just saying, she's okay, everybody. I talked to her. Yeah, well, she makes voices all the time, Zozo. You do a lot of weird comments yourself, just randomly. Even right in the middle, inappropriate comments during cases. Can you deny that? I mean, come on, Zozo. You make a lot of comments inappropriately during cases, but we all let it go because it's funny. You know, if you said those out loud, people would probably make a bigger deal about it. Come on, just be honest. Let's see. Let me do the... I didn't say it was about the victims. I'm just saying during cases. You know, we'd be talking about something and then you make a comment about... I mean, everybody does it, right? But let's just not make it too big a deal about that one, okay? It's no big deal. I mean, it sounded weird and it was kind of, you know, odd timing and stuff, but thank you, Samantha. And also welcome to PKN Bit. And hello, everybody. Let me turn this on. So you know what I was going to do tonight was, you remember there was a probable cause document a long time ago, but it's so much more interesting now after you watch the special. So the special doesn't get into the details of what's in the probable cause in terms of the, you know, Alex's movement and stuff like that. So I thought we could go back over that again. Do you guys remember that? Or it might have been the Warren or the Probable Cause. I can't remember. But it was, we went over that like 2 or 3 years ago and mapped it out. So it might be pretty interesting to go over again. But the special did have other stuff in it, like when Lori went to, after Charles was shot and then she took JJ to school, they showed some video of, I guess it's been on the internet for a while, but when she goes to Burger King to get the chicken fries or whatever. And then I guess after that, Tylee and Lori went to get flip-flops. And here's the thing is, I mean, how much time would that have taken? Remember when Alex said, oh, she left about 20 minutes ago? Well, no, it really wasn't 20 minutes. Because they actually have a part where Alex calls Lori, then 43 minutes later calls 911. So Charles was sitting there for a long time. And then I guess he was shot like, I think they mentioned 4 times, but 2 of them were while he was already on the ground. And you remember Tylee only heard 2 shots. So that means after they drove away, he went in and finished him off. I mean, that's just a messed up story here. Yeah, that's sick. Some crazy shit. Yeah, and then some of them are from a weird angle, like he's on the ground, so the bullet doesn't go in straight. It's like at a severe angle. And they had pictures of the bat on the ground. I think you watched it, right, Zozo? Did you watch the whole thing? All, what is it, 3 or 4 episodes? I don't remember. I think 3. And I thought it was pretty good, you know? I don't think it was some goofy... It was a little bit like the Chris Watts one that they did. And I'm bringing up Chris Watts because they did a good job on Netflix when they did it. And it was almost solely based on the videos and actual things, not some person just ruminating somewhere. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I knew I'd still get the no Chris Watts thing, but the special they did on Chris Watts was good. That's all you needed to watch. You didn't need to watch 17 million videos by YouTube creators over and over and over again, trying to find out how the girlfriend could be involved. Oh my God, I hate her. Look at her, man. She's got to be, you know. It's sick. So when you come over here, everybody, you get to be watching a channel that actually just kind of goes over cases in a logical way and the facts in the case, and hopefully that's something you appreciate. All right. So, gosh, you know, what's her name? Annie Cushing, I think is her name. That's the brother of Joseph Ryan, Lori's 3rd husband, who died in, I believe it was 2018. You know, I mean, it's just amazing how many people die around her. I mean, they might want to go back and revisit that one, but it doesn't sound like he was the greatest person in the world. Joseph Ryan, based on that. I mean, not just that. Colby was saying things, and, you know, I don't know why there'd be a reason for him to make that up, but maybe they were just stories told by Lori to him, and he believed them over time. I don't know. Hey, Cairo, what's going on? I'm going to play some of your... I just found the file that I have when you went out there for us and filmed and flew up above the Chad's property and everything. Yeah, I actually found that. Figured we could go over that too. Yeah, as soon as Chris Watts was mentioned, you got a notification, right?
I just got a phone notification. Did someone say Chris Watts?
Well, you probably have to sleep for about a week to catch up, Zozo. Okay, so let me... I think what the best way to do it is just sort of have like Annie Cushing's timeline article. All the links are in the description. I think this is it right here. And it's called. She has a website called Annielytics, and she put this ridiculous, I mean, just so thorough timeline in here. I'm going to skip past all of it until we get to around when Charles gets killed, because I think that's sort of, I mean, even though things were in progress before that, you know, we know that Charles had the police come over to his, you know, she had taken all of his stuff, stopped one of his flights, she tried to have him committed. There's video of that, and that's prior. Let me just see. Look, I mean, she just really goes through everything. I mean, every day there's something. Let's see. Let's see, where was I going to do the Venmo? Alex centers a conversation about Charles Vallow, AKO Hiplos, da 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 da. I think it's right around beginning of July here. So on June 29th, 2019, Charles Vallow gives Lori Vallow an ultimatum: come clean about a relationship with Chad Daybell by the end of the day, or he would contact Tammy Daybell and inform her of their relationship. At 9:16 a.m., Charles Vallow emails Tammy Daybell to inform her of Lori and Chad's affair, because obviously she didn't say anything. And Chad Daybell, let's see, Lori and Chad's affair, and Chad Daybell to confront him about the affair and the videos Lori allegedly sent him of her dancing. There's no confirmation that Tammy saw the email from Charles. The email read, "Tammy, my name is Charles Vallow. I have some vital and disturbing information regarding her husband and my wife, Lori." I mean, I'm assuming that everybody knows about this. Let me just throw this timeline, or my chart, up again. You guys remember this thing, right? So this is the one I made a long time ago. We just kept building it as we were covering it at the very beginning. So when you look at this, you have Lori Vallow right here, her brother Alex, and then she had another sister named Stacy. There's a guy named Adam. I don't really put him in here though. So Alex is basically the hitman, and I couldn't believe it because I've always called him the hitman, but it turns out Lori referred to him as a hitman as well. Like he's their hitman. It's crazy. And then Melanie over here, the niece of Lori, was the daughter of Stacy, who died in 1998 from apparently diabetes of some sort. And then Chad Daybell right here is, you know, is the latest husband of Lori, but in 2000, Lori and a guy named Joseph Ryan divorced, and that he died in 2018, but I think it was like 2007 or something like that. Alex tried to tase him at a court hearing, doing Lori's bidding, basically. And then after, I think it was, what year was that? Charles and Lori got married, and that was quite a long time ago as well. I don't have the date that they got married, but right here it says, so Charles and Lori adopted JJ, and Kay and Larry Woodcock, who've been on the show a couple times, they had custody of JJ, and then gave over custody because they were older, and they thought it'd be better to have JJ with the younger couple, Charles and Lori, with Tylee, which was actually a sibling or a child that Lori and Joseph had. So Lori and Joseph had Tylee as their kid. Not sure. I gotta turn off my phone here. Hold on. Hold on. All right. Yeah, so Lori and Joseph had a child, and they battled over custody of Tylee for a long time. And Joseph adopted Colby up here, but apparently their relationship was terrible, and there was a lot of bad things going on. Yeah, so I guess Charles and Lori, based on what Zozo just typed in there, married in 2006. But these guys divorced. Joseph and Lori divorced a long time ago. They had a child Tylee, but also Colby lived there too. Then after the divorce, Lori still had Colby and Tylee, but married Charles, mainly because he was rich. And then they adopted, and he'd already had his own sons. So they adopted JJ because Larry and Kay said, hey, can you adopt him? And now where JJ comes in is Kay here had a son, Todd, and he had a child with this woman, but neither one of them were fit to have a child at that time. So they took the custody of JJ and then gave the custody over to Charles after he adopted. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. Then right here, there's Melanie right here is the niece of Lori, the daughter of one of Lori's sisters. And she was married to a guy named Brandon right here, Brandon Boudreaux. Melanie here. And I mean, just the timing of everything is crazy because they get a divorce in November of 2019. But prior to that, she tried to have him killed. And I guarantee you that is what happened. Alex Cox was driving in Tylee's Jeep and shot at him and missed. Okay, what they were really trying to do in this cult that they were starting was to build up a huge amount of funds regarding, the life insurance policies from Brandon, Charles, and Tammy over here. So Tammy Daybell, she died on October 19th. All these people, I mean, it's absolutely insane. Look at the dates of the deaths here. So October 19th, Tammy dies. Alex Cox dies on December 12th that same year, the day after Tammy's exhumed. Brandon Boudreaux does not die, but then, see in this picture I have yellow, because at that time they were still missing when I made it, but there's another image out there where they've been, there's a red X on there because they are now not alive. And they were killed sometime in September. And then July. So you have like 5-6 people dying. I don't believe that Alex died naturally. I just think the timing of that is ridiculously just, if it is true that he died accidentally, it'd be one of the biggest coincidences ever. It is unbelievable. All the shit was going to hit the fan, and basically they were just tying up loose ends, and I think he died the exact same way that Tammy Daybell died. Anyways, didn't mean to get sidetracked there, but let's just get to the portion here. So on July 1st, Charles Vallow plans to speak to Tammy Daybell about the affair between Lori and Chad. On the 2nd, Charles Vallow tells Adam, that's Lori's other brother, he seems like one of the only normal people in their entire family. Charles Vallow tells Adam Cox he believes Chad and Tammy Daybell are ringleaders of the cult. So that's crazy. I mean, he was totally aware of the cult, and the police just never really took him seriously, but it must sound weird. Like if you were a police officer and somebody came up and said, hey man, my wife, she thinks that I'm a guy named Ned Schneider, and she believes in all these light and dark spirits. You might think that you're weird. Because who the hell would ever think those things? All right. Then on July 6, 2019, April Raymond last communication with Lori Vallow. Charles Vallow travels to Valencia. This is right around the time. And then on the same day, July 9th, Lori Vallow finds out about the intervention Charles Vallow and her brother Adam Cox had planned for her. The indictment states she found this out from her mother, Janice Cox, and another person whose name is redacted. She then reached out to Alex Cox and 2 other names that are redacted. Annie Cushing doesn't agree that that's how it, where the source was. Then also on the 9th, Lori Vallow sends Alex Cox a series of text messages. So these are ones that Lori sent to Alex. Lori invites Alex over to her house. and sends him the address of 5531 South Four Peak Place in Chandler. Thank you, Jessica Schubach. And Tina Susser. So the first one, Lori invites Alex over to her house and sends him the address. Then at 9:03 p.m., Lori, so the plot thickens. Call me when you can. Law enforcement notes this is likely in response to Lori finding out that Charles and Adam were planning a family meeting. According to the indictment, Lori found this out from her mother and sister, Summer. 9:50 p.m., getting sleepy, so I'm going to need you to stay close to me the next couple days. Mel, too. So, talking about Melanie Gibb. She can't go to Utah. I think, well, maybe it's not Melanie. I think it's the sister, the niece, I mean. She can't go to Utah. They're planning some kind of intervention, but want Mel out of the way. So it could be Melanie Gibb, I don't know. But Utah is associated with, well, I guess all of them. It's like they're Mormons. So. I need to come get the stuff out of your house tomorrow and secure it. Lots to do. Thank you for standing by me. It's all coming to a head this week. I will be like Nephi, I am told, and so will you. Mel, okay, so it's the niece right here. Mel is her niece, not Melanie Gibb. Melanie Gibb is nuts, okay? I mean, she is like, she's as crazy as all of them. She just got lucky that she wasn't in the, just a little closer to the situation. She is absolutely nuts. You know what I gotta say though, when I was watching this documentary, or whatever you want to call it, like a series, Julie Rowe, she painted a totally false picture of how she was. I couldn't believe it. How did they let her get away with that crap? I mean, Julie Rowe is, I think she's a lot more culpable here than people are letting on. She was right there with Chad, convincing him that, oh yeah, I think that I see it too. I see Tammy dying too. Oh, not yet. I don't see it. It was almost like she was timing it for him. And then she talks about how Tammy is so happy behind the veil that Chad's able to, be with Lori. I mean, she's just, really? Are you freaking kidding me? She is crazy. I have the video, okay? I have all of that crap with me. All right? I mean, every one of those videos, I downloaded them. And they're out there on YouTube. I might even, we'll have to play the audio at some point, but or maybe we'll do like a members-only stream and let's watch some of those things. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. She defends Chad over and over and over and over, and absolutely makes excuses for him. She talked about how they both envisioned Tammy dying together, and it just wasn't time now, but maybe it is now. Oh, I see it again. And when you listen to that, you don't look at her like she's some innocent person. But on the show, she just sounds like, oh man, he was crazy. He said he could see his wife dying. Well, so did you, lunatic. So did you. You were saying the same thing. I have the evidence, and so do thousands of other people. They've seen it. All right. Then also on the 19th, Lori Vallow and her niece Melanie Boudreau have a text exchange about her wedding plans. So about Melanie's, I guess. On July 9, 2019 at 19:21 hours, Lori sent Melanie an SMS message indicating that she needed to talk to her ASAP. Lori added that she could call her in 5 minutes, and let's see. Lori sent Melanie. Okay, so she's asking for. Lori added that she would call her in 5 minutes as she was finding out what to do. At 8 o'clock, Lori sent Melanie another message telling her, "You can't go tomorrow. It's set up for both of us. still on the phone, finding out the details. Melanie agreed not to leave. Lori then stated they have an elaborate plan. I'll call you soon. Melanie then offered to take all the babies and their stuff and drive. Lori told her, you can't go at all. We both need to stay here to defend ourselves, Lori added. It's coming to a head this week. We'll change everything. I mean, that is crazy, right? Thank you, Marilyn Riley. All right. And also on the 9th, Melanie, a lot of stuff was happening on the 9th and 10th. Melanie Gibb is the nut job friend. Texts Lori Vallow and says she wants to come over. Lori tells her all of her family and the kids are over, which really wasn't true, right? I mean, Candalee Woodward Stone said, I have a feeling Chad is going to throw Lori under the bus. There's no way to throw anybody under the bus. They're both just, it's just all, Lori has a better chance of throwing Chad under the bus. Because it wasn't, she could say, I didn't even know where they went, my kids. He just told me, oh, they're in a better place, and I didn't know what he meant. You know, she has a better chance of throwing Chad under the bus. And the reason is because Chad, the bodies are buried on Chad's property, and he texted his wife the crazy raccoon story, meaning that he has absolute knowledge of exactly what he did on that property to those kids. Lori, however, wasn't there, right? So she could say it's her that can throw Chad under the bus. It has a way better chance of having that be successful, right? So, I mean, even though they're probably both going to try that, I think that is, you know, and also Alex's phone pinging there. So it's Alex and Chad. Alex is going to try to say it was Alex. So here's what Chad's going to do. Alex is the one that did it. He shows up with these dead bodies, and I panicked. You know, and then we just sort of dug holes and started a fire, and I didn't know what to do, but I had to explain it to my wife, so I told her about the raccoon on the fence, and I got really close and got one shot in. Boy, I'm a great shot, too. And yeah. You get what I'm saying? That is what's going to happen. Lori's going to throw... I mean, the strategy that would be their best shot in hell it would be if they both threw Alex under the bus and said he did it. Chad would have to say he panicked, and Lori will just say, I didn't know what they were doing at all. When I said they were in a better place, I thought they were on some commune somewhere. Nobody's going to believe any of that shit, though, right? Yeah, Alex, it's easy, right? And even Alex thought he was the fall guy. He's told that to, you heard that in this series. He told Zulema that he said he thinks he's the fall guy. No, the bots aren't working? Hold on, let me try it again. Let me see. I don't know if my bots are... There we go. Okay. Yep, there we go. All right. So let's see. We're on the 9th here. So it says Melanie Gibb texts Lori Vallow and says she wants to come over, and then Lori tells her all of her family and my kids are over. Then Melanie, just being the weirdo that she is, goes over to Lori's house, even though that was kind of a hint like, well, there's too many people here. Texts her from outside the house. Hey, I'm here. Ooh. Ah, what a wacko. Stalker. Just nuts. Lori lets her come in, and then Melanie spent the night. So that was on the 9th. In the morning, Lori told Melanie to leave and says Charles was coming to kill her. So you know that they're already aware of that shit, right? Yeah, we're just going. I'm just going back over it again. Just follow along. You don't need to, According to Kay Woodcock, Alex Cox's last day of work, as long as it was a long-haul trucker, I guess. So this is the next morning. Charles then arranges to come to Arizona and also arranges to travel for Adam using his frequent flyer miles. So he actually buys a ticket for Adam, and Adam is concerned enough where he literally flies over there to Arizona. Charles flies from Houston into Phoenix to pick up JJ the next day. This is how this whole thing goes down. And look at apartments in Chandler. And if you go over to So Mean Allegedly, we've already gone through all the body camera footage. I'm not going to play it again here. Lori Vallow texts her sister Summer at 3:58 that afternoon that she was on her way to Alex Cox's house. So now Lori knows that Charles is coming, and also with Adam. So she goes to Alex Cox's house, the hitman. She also reached out to someone and convinced her to cancel a trip to Utah for a wedding. That was Melanie Boudreau. Okay, it says, you can't go at all. We both need to stay here to defend ourselves. Then also on the 10th, Lori Vallow and Melanie Boudreau exchanged text messages where Lori implores her to not go out of town for the wedding she was planning to attend. So it was just one that she was going to go to. Charles Vallow goes on a date with Nancy Joe shortly after arriving in Arizona. So, I didn't even realize that he was seeing anybody. Well, that's good for him. So he went on a date with somebody named Nancy Joe shortly after arriving. And then on the 11th, this is where the weirdness, the murders start happening. Charles Vallow is shot by Alex Cox. If you watch the special, these are all things that were absolutely planned. You can see these text messages between Chad and Lori, and this is just, it's sick. According to Fox reporter Justin Lum, he's also in the special, the shooting occurred at around 8:30 a.m. Cox claims self-defense and calls 911. Alex Cox was questioned by law enforcement outside the home, which was recorded on body cam and can be viewed here and here. She has links in there. So if you want to get really deep into it, you can go over there. One of the things... screw it. I'm going to load this sucker up. Just a second. You almost have to play it, or... Just a minute. Hey, thanks, Cindy Leon. Still think Chad Daybell looks like Peter from Family Guy. Yeah, he's quite the looker, huh? Don't you like the mug that I made? It was his face upside down with the... Oh, I don't know if I have it. Darn it. Yeah. Well, this is her being interviewed after. I don't have the on this file here, so I'm just going to shut it down. All right. Anyways, they go into the house. Alex is on a 911 call. I have a video out there that shows the whole thing. You can watch it. It's timed up. I do the timestamps where all the 911 call and the officers showing up are all synced up, just like they did in the show, except I did mine over 2 years ago. You see Charles on the ground, dead. You see Alex's gun in the room on the floor, and then they take Alex. You know, this is when the other officer who went inside. Outside, Alex is being questioned. I think one of the biggest moments for me was when Alex is outside, and he was on the ground. He was sort of talking, and he says, "Well, what's he so angry about? What did you guys fight about?" "Well, he was accusing me," and then he stopped. He goes, "He was accusing me," and then he stopped, because what would he have said? You know what the answer to that question is? What do you think the answer is that Alex would have ended up saying if he really truthfully answered, "He was accusing me of"? Go ahead. Fill it in, you guys. Fill it in. Right. Well, no, not of killing him. That he was going to kill. Like, there, you know. He was accusing me of plotting to kill him. I think that's what you're saying. So, yeah, that is what he was going to say, right? But he went, well, he was accusing me. And then the officer said, hey, come on, let's move away from this truck. And as they're walking side by side, the officer says, accusing you of what? And Alex just kept walking. He knew, he could tell that he heard him. Just kept on walking, kept on walking. Then he gets all the way to the end, sits down and goes, I don't know, he was just angry. And then the officer said, oh, okay, great, and then went on to something else. Man, he should have just, what do you mean accused? That's not something you accidentally say. Accusing me. Okay? That means there was something there. You just didn't continue on. Alright, Alex was staying at the house where Charles Vallow was shot, and so we do also know that in Lori's interrogation, guess what she said? That she brought Alex over for protection because she was scared of Charles. So that means you know that him having a gun and being there was part of it all. I think Lori intentionally stirred up a situation with Charles when he was there. I think what happened is what happened there. I think the part that that's sort of convoluted is the fact that Alex went back and got the gun and shot him and killed him and then shot him a couple more times because it was all going to happen. She grabbed the phone. What are we laughing about? See, this is what I'm saying. See, we're not talking about anything that's funny, but everybody's chuckling and laughing. You see what I'm saying? That's very similar if you're going to complain about what's going on with last night on the show with the caller, compared to that. I mean, we got a lot of giggling and laughing when we're actually talking about this. Yeah, right. Okay, so I thought that was a big deal when, and it just throws everything off too, because I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. All right, so Alex is sitting on the curb now, and they're just talking. Then they go to the, they all get taken to the jail, and they're all questioned, every one of them. And they all have a similar story. I don't think it was planned, though. It wasn't. When you watch it, you can tell what's not planned is the story part. What is planned is that no matter what, he was going to be killed that day, because they were going to kill the evil spirit, Ned Schneider. Right? So that's what the whole plan was, but the rest of it was just to get him riled up. I think Tylee did come out with a bat and held it there. I think all that stuff happened. It could even be true that Charles held the bat in his hand because he's sitting in a room with people he knows are plotting to kill him because he's been deemed to be an evil spirit. Right? So that's what's crazy about it. All right, so Alex says Charles attacked him with a baseball bat, but had trace amounts of blood on a napkin he dabs the back of his head. As Alex says Lori, Tylee, and JJ left the shooting, told police he had been at home. We just listened to the interrogation, so it sounded more like, let's see, Charles went out to the car. The story that they told was Charles went out to the car, put JJ in the car. Then when he came back in, because he left his wallet, and Lori says, oh, he always leaves stuff in that. He always does that. He tries to leave something so he could come back. So then he goes back inside the house and finds tries to get his wallet, or his cell phone, It's not his wallet, his cell phone. And Lori says, oh, I was looking through it to see who he's been chatting with. And she wouldn't give it to him. You don't think that's going to create an anger situation? And so I guess that means that Tylee was still in there. And so JJ at this point is already in the car, sort of out of the out of view, can't see anything. And then there was this thing where it went over towards the room that Alex was staying in. Then, somehow like Tylee got in the middle. Then Charles grabbed the bat from Tylee, and then somebody got spun around and hit in the back of the head. I mean, it's just really convoluted, like the story, but I think they just can't remember how it went. But there is stuff going on in there, and then Alex goes back to the room. Charles is still holding the bat and says, "Put it down," and Charles wouldn't put it down, and then he shot him twice. And what's weird about it is Lori was in the house, she says, but didn't see the shooting, but heard it. Then she goes outside, and guess what? She sent Tylee back in to grab her purse and whatnot. And I don't know what Tylee saw, but there was only 2 shots. And then apparently after they drove away, there was more shots being fired. And then when 911 he called 911, he claims he's doing CPR and all this stuff, but he's not really doing anything. You can tell he's just going like this. Because, check it out, when he called Lori after, apparently there was a 43-minute gap before he called 911. I mean, there was no intent to have him live whatsoever. They wanted to make sure he died, and the reason was, the reason for killing him, they claim, is that he was a dark spirit, and it's really just noble what they're doing, because if you're a dark spirit, that means your physical body is being, inhabited by an evil spirit. And the only way, just like in Walking Dead, we played that one time, just like on the show Walking Dead, the only way to get rid of that evil spirit is by killing the physical body. And what happens when the evil spirit takes over a body, this is what they believe. Some event in your life, like, you get injured or something like that. You're weak, so an evil spirit can take you over. And they even have a name and everything, like Ned Schneider. So let's just pretend Charles, this is what they claim. So Charles was once this normal person. Then he had an evil spirit take him over named Ned Schneider. And then the original soul of Charles is stuck in limbo, and it will remain in limbo forever until the evil spirit that inhabits the physical body of Charles is killed. And the only way to do that is by killing the physical body. So what you do is you have to kill Charles. Then at that moment, it frees the original soul. So, man, you know what, you guys, I've changed my mind. I think Lori and Alex and Chad, they're heroes, okay? Because they are freeing the evil souls. They're freeing the souls of the real people from the body inhabited by the evil spirit, the dark. And they had this little system where it was like 6 light, 4.1 light, 5.0 light, and then dark 4. They had Tylee at 4.1 dark, man. They had her, isn't that incredible? Her own daughter, she was so happy to mark her down at 4.1 dark, so they could just kill her and feel good about it. Yeah. What do you mean I'm making sense? I always make sense. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Yeah. Let's see. Well, it's okay. By the way, earlier, Alifair, it's okay and everything. I'm just saying, can't you look at it the same way? When you get people, when they're laughing and chuckling during a real serious moment, you could look at it as being sort of similar to somebody being inappropriate on, the wording on another moment, right? Like, we're not all perfect. I just wanted to point that out. I think we all have a little Ned Schneider living in us. Are you sure about that? 7:35, Charles arrives at Lori's home and texts Lori's brother Adam Cox to tell him Alex was there. So I think the shooting might have been a lot earlier than what people claim. So at 7:35 he shows up there, and at that time he goes, "Oh my God, Alex is here," and he was probably nervous about that. And Alex was there. Adam tells Charles Lori and Alex were planning something, and Charles replies, "Absolutely." Adam also tells Charles he was supposed to spend the night with Alex, but Lori probably blocked that plan. I'm not disappointed in you guys. I just, sometimes I just feel like we're not on the same page, Yeah. Like I'm talking about something, I'm getting into it, I'm really serious. I look over, I see rolling around laughing, and there was no jokes told. So, hey, thanks, Dreaming Girl. Oh, yeah. All right. So that was at 7:35. Then 7:49, Charles' cell phone left home. Left it at home, I guess. Chandler Police Department uses this timestamp as a proxy for approximate time Charles was shot. Right, see? 7:49, not this 8. 7:52, Alex Cox and Lori speak on the phone. Right? And then at 8:06, Alex Cox and Lori speak on the phone again. They're like, is he dead yet? Is he dead yet? And look at this. Then at 8:32, Alex calls 911. Why that? Look at this crap. Doesn't this make you sick right here? Why at 7:52 and 8:06 are Lori and Alex talking on the phone if they're right there in the house together? Well, they're not. That's because Lori's already taken off with Tylee and JJ at that point. The shooting was way earlier at 7 something. So 8:32 a.m. Alex calls 911. So he's dead at 7:52. He's been shot at least by 7:52. 8:06. He is. It's obviously dead then, and that's why they put a proxy in here at 7:49 as the time. Let's see. Charles' cell phone left the home. Wow. So they took. That's right. Lori had his phone. Oh my God. So Lori gets in the call in his rental car and drives away to the school and gets the the Burger King chicken fries or what the hell it is. Let me see if I have it here. No, that's something different. Where is that thing? No, that wasn't it. I don't know where that clip is. I had it, but I think I know where I put it. Hold on one second. Just a minute.
It's chilling. Just released.
All right, so this is from Inside Edition, but I'm just going to show you the part with. Where the hell is it? There it is. Wow, look how crazy that is. Oh yeah, and look at it. It even says 7:54. Oh man. So look at this. This is more proof right here. So look at 7:54 in the morning.
To Burger King.
She's going to Burger King right here. And purchasing, whatever that, JJ's in the car. There she is. There's JJ right over there. Man, that's crazy. So that right there, you can actually put 7:54 right here. Alex Cox and Lori speak on the phone. Oh, I'm almost at Burger King now. And then at 8:32 he calls 911. So it's really obvious here. Wow, that's insane. That wasn't the last meal. Those are Tylee and JJ were still alive. They were just in the car. Man, that's bizarre. I think I knew that there was a gap, but I didn't realize it was that long. 8:48, Lori and Tylee arrived back. Yeah, so there you go. 8:32, Alex calls 911. And remember when he was sitting outside, he said, "Oh, it was like 20 minutes ago." And look at that, 16 minutes right there, where they pull up. So it makes you, man, how stupid! What terrible planning that is. You go to Burger King? You know, you're going to be on camera there? That's pretty dumb. Zulima Pastine texts Lori Vallow a bizarre message at 11:31 p.m. about Charles Vallow. As I was working on Hiplos today in the temple, I was told he will be taken as he is. I don't know what that means. When I was shown to only put the brightest light from the top and the bottom at the same time, meeting in the middle, so I've been doing that all day. Whatever. Neighbors report that the family hosts a pool party at the house where Charles Vallow was shot that day. They report there are lots of people and loud music. That's bizarre as hell. I mean, what did you just wipe the blood off the ground and have a pool party? I mean, it's sick. Just a second. Alright, so someone from the group texts someone, okay, Hiplos is gone. Okay, I'm going to move off of this now, and I'm going to go open up that warrant. I believe it is what it's called. Hold on a second. Make sure I have the... Yeah, it's a probable cause document, not a warrant. Sorry. It looks like blue left. I mean, this is 14 pages long, but maybe we can... Have you guys, any of you guys actually gone through this thing? It's pretty crazy. They go step by step on specific dates in here. I think I'll just do it. Why not, right? I'll try to read it as quick as I can. How about that? Hope Alifair didn't just take off after I just said that. I mean, I didn't even know who was the one making jokes. You know, I always feel like, I don't know, it's just weird sometimes in the chat. It's why sometimes I wish I wasn't even looking at it. But if I don't look at it, people go, "Oh, great, you didn't respond. I said something." And I've already read it before, Butterfly 23, like 20 times. We did a whole show where we read through it. Yeah. Well, why did she take off, Plato? See, that's crazy. Thank you, Sooner History. Gotta put that in there. I don't know where any of them are. I don't have time for whining, though. Okay? I mean, I get too much of that in emails and crap from people. I just don't have time. So if I say something about, hey, you know, we're talking about something serious, maybe all the chuckles and giggles in the chat aren't appropriate right now, well, then that's just what it is. You don't have to be offended by it. You don't need to feel bad and feel like you got to go, you know, it's just, this is what makes it tiring to do these shows all the time, is dealing with the, you know, whiny attitudes. I just, it's unbelievable. I'm just trying to do a show that is, you know, we get through cases and cover them in an accurate way. And, you know, there's moments, you know, I mean, here's the thing. If like somebody was giving a speech somewhere and people were chuckling over in the corner, but your speech was on something that had nothing to do with, there's no humor in it, how would you feel on that? So just ask yourself that question. Right. So here we go. The information contained herein is true. Da, 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 da. Let's see. I don't want to do the accreditations there. Hey, Mrs. Mom, I'll do my show however the hell I want to do. Okay, thanks. Your comment right there is another whiny one. Just don't tell me what to do. If you don't like the show, don't watch. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, Loretta Reyes. All right, yeah, this is crazy. Since November 26, 2019, the Rexburg Police Department has been involved in the search for J.J. Vallow. All this other stuff was going on for a long time prior. The search for the children began when Kay Woodcock, J.J.'s grandmother, called Gilbert, Arizona police to report that she had not had any contact with J.J. for several months. Gilbert police contacted the detective, Ray Hermosillo, of the Rexburg Police Department due to the RPD helping the Gilbert police with an investigation in which J.J. and Tylee's mother, cousin, and uncle were persons of interest. J.J. and Tylee's mother, Vallow, has been charged with 2 felony counts of desertion of a minor child, 1 misdemeanor count of resisting, obstructing on misdemeanor, da 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 da. Tylee was 16 years old at the time she went missing. J.J. was 7 when he went missing. Until this time, law enforcement has stated that Tylee was 17 at the time she went missing because we were not aware she was missing until several months after her 17th birthday. However, we now have reason to believe she was killed before her 17th birthday. Chad Daybell was present in Kauai, Hawaii on February 20th, 2020, when Vallow was arrested on the felony desertion charges. I was present at the arrest. Daybell was also present at Vallow's March 6th initial appearance in Madison. Daybell and Vallow were married on November 5th, 2019. Let's see. Yeah, so just keep in mind that date. Daybell's first wife, Tammy Daybell, died October 19th. Okay, I mean, just look at that. You're looking at 17 days later after, his wife of decades dies. He just quickly marries Lori because they had been married before. And guess what? Julie Rose said that Tammy's really happy for Chad behind the veil. Yeah. The last verifiable sighting of Tylee was on September 8, 2019 in Yellowstone National Park. The last verifiable sighting of JJ was September 22nd. It's interesting right here because I think Tylee, they were killed on different dates, like a couple weeks different, So the last verifiable sighting of Tylee was September 8, 2019 in Yellowstone National Park. Well, while they were in Yellowstone, they both had pictures taken of them. And there's two pictures that are out there. This is one of them. So you have that one. You have Alex. None of these people are alive right here. So you have Alex, Tylee, JJ. And then the other picture is this one right here. Now, I mean, it's a little bit blurry here, but I was able to find out. It was really pretty difficult, but just from this picture right here, I was able to figure out where they were at the park. Now, there might be people out there that know that now. That's because they watched my show. They didn't figure it out. Okay, so, I was all over the place. I was over at Grand Prismatic because it looks like there's that weird stuff over there. You got the water here. So that's what I thought originally. But I was just going, let's see. We've also got over here. It was just wild because I literally thought this looks pretty good right here. And then when it went to Street View, somebody literally went down here and filmed right off of this boardwalk right here. So if you take that picture right there and you put this one in there, you'll probably see this right now on the channel with the guy that put the truck in the water upside down. Yeah, so look at that right there. You can see everything's the same. See the mountain there? You got the Old Faithful, I think is where this is. You got the water here. I got to move this over a little bit. And then there's water right there, here, and then there's this little, there's water right there. I think it's either this one, or it could have been that one too. Like it's either that water there. It's hard to say, but it could be filmed just like that, or right at the end, and that portion is the water that you see in the image. So when you look at this one right here, there's a little bit of water bubbling up right there. Definitely, you know, when you look over here, you see it, the orange on the rocks right there. That's right there. See that? So yeah, it's either right here or right over there. But it looks like there's water bubbling up from a spring right there. And the one that looks like it's most likely could be the one at the end down here. So either way, it doesn't really matter where they were standing on the plank here. It's always fun, but it doesn't keep going down there. Like if you go like this, it goes over here. But I definitely think it could be, you know, right there or right there, but it doesn't matter in terms of, it's not going to help any extra. But that is where that photo was taken. All right, so let me get that in there. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Kit Kat. Very kind. Very kind. Yeah, it took me like a full day basically to find this spot. It was crazy. So that is where that shot was taken over here at Yellowstone at, I think it's Old Faithful right there. Which is over on this side. But they were looking, in the background is over here, these other geysers and springs or whatever the hell you want to call them. Alright, so let's get back to this. So that was the last verifiable sighting of Tylee. And then the last verifiable, I don't know why I can't just say that one, verifiable sighting of JJ was September 22nd, 2019 in his mother's apartment located at 565 Pioneer Road 175. Let's see. Vallow moved to Rexburg on about September 1st, 2019 with Tylee and JJ and her brother Alex Cox. Vallow resided with their children at the 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 175. Cox resided in the same complex, initially living in the same unit as Vallow and then moving into his own unit at 565, unit number 107. On November 26, 2019, and I think Cairo drove through the complex, so I'll put that in here in a second. This is the apartment. This is before it was built here, obviously. So there's an image of it after it's built. So now we can see the layout. We actually know what the numbers are. 107, 175. I don't know if I have those marked like that, but let's see. Let me get the... just watch one of Cairo's videos here. Is that the one? Driving around, drone. There. Oh, was that the drive to it? Oh, here it is. There it is, 107. Yep, just walked right in there. I think there's a video where you see JJ running across at some point. So this is where they sort of had their temporary cult for a little bit. This is the last known sighting of JJ, was in this apartment complex. So there you go. On November 26, 2019, Detective Hermosillo and Detective Hope from RPD went to Vallow's home, located at 565 Pioneer Road, to conduct a welfare check. Detective Hermosillo and Hope met with Cox and Daybell outside the residence. Daybell acted as if he didn't know Vallow very well and stated he didn't know her phone number. Cox told the detectives that JJ was with his grandma, Kay Woodcock. Well, they said, well, that's not very likely because, well, I mean, she's the one that called to do the welfare check, right? And it said the same thing in the show that we just watched. They kind of went almost based off of this a little bit. Now, Hermosillo and Hope went to apartment 107, but the apartment was completely empty and vacant. So Lori was gone. At this time, they called me and Detective David Stubbs and asked me to come to the premise to help search for JJ. Shortly after calling me, Detective Hermosillo called me again and indicated that he saw Daybell driving a black Chevrolet Equinox away from the residence. Detective Hermosillo stopped Daybell and asked him again if he had seen JJ. Chad responded that the last time he had seen JJ was in apartment 107 in October. He also admitted, so in October that would have been, he wasn't even alive at that point. He also admitted he knew Vallow's phone number and provided it to Detective Hermosillo. On that same day, myself, Detective Stubbs, located and spoke with Vallow in her apartment at 175. We identified ourselves as RPD officers. Vallow told us that JJ was in Gilbert, Arizona with a friend named Melanie Gibb. We obtained Gibb's phone number from Vallow. The encounter was recorded on body cam. We ended our contact with Vallow, immediately attempted to call Gibb. We were unable to contact or speak with her, and if you can see in the movie, and we've seen it before, that Chad actually called Gibb and said, "They're going to call you, don't answer." Vallow also informed RPD that Tylee was attending BYU, Idaho, and living with Vallow. Right, Vallow informed RPD that Tylee was attending BYU, Idaho, and living with Vallow? I don't get it. Because Detective Stubbs and I were unable to contact Gibb, we immediately contacted Vallow again, and we requested that she call Gibb. At this time, Vallow told us that Gibb and JJ were at the movie. At this time, Vallow told us that Gibb, oh yeah, well, they're not home. You know, Melanie Gibb and JJ are at the movie Frozen. So it was unlikely Gibb would answer the phone. We instructed Vallow to call Gibb and have Gibb contact. Why not just say, well, we'd like you to call her anyways? Because I guarantee it, she would have answered, right? By the evening of November 20, and that would have been a good way to prove that she was full of crap right then. By the evening of November 26, 2019, we had still not heard from Gibb, so RPD informed Detective Ryan Pillar of the Gilbert Police Department of the information we have received regarding the children being with Gibb. Detective Hermosillo was informed later that evening around 9:30 p.m. that Gilbert police went to the home of Gibb. Gibb was not home, but Detective Pillar contacted her by phone, and she stated that JJ was not staying at her Arizona house and had not been there for several months. On December 6, 2019, Detective Hermosillo was contacted by Gibb, and she informed us that both Daybell and Vallow called Gibb on November 26. So they called her. Lori and Chad did. I don't know what I just hit there, but where was I? Oh yeah, they called at separate times. She was contacted first by Daybell, who told her that she would probably be contacted by the police in regards to JJ's location, and then asked her not to answer the call. Gibb informed RPD that she was confused by this request because she had been told by Vallow in late September or early October that JJ was living with Kay Woodcock, who was JJ's grandmother. Gibb asked Daybell if JJ was living with Kay, and he told her that JJ was not with Kay. That's because at that point, JJ is buried on his property in the ground. Gibb was soon, therefore, contacted by Vallow on her phone. So just a little bit later, Vallow called. Vallow asked Gibb to tell the police that she and JJ, and police that she had JJ, and asked Gibb to tell the police that she had taken JJ to a movie, Frozen 2. Vallow further asked Gibb to take a picture of some children in a manner that would make it appear that Gibb and JJ was with her, and to send that picture to the police. Gibb informed Vallow that she would not lie to the police, and Gibb did not comply with Vallow's request. I mean, Jesus, what a sicko, you know? You know what I'm saying? Gibb was soon therefore... okay, we already did that one. Gibb first met Vallow in the fall of 2018. Melanie Gibb introduced Vallow to Daybell in St. George, Utah at a Preparing a People conference. In early 2019, Gibb was present with Vallow during a telephone conversation between Vallow and Daybell. The conversation was in response to a vision of Vallow that her husband Charles Vallow and her son JJ were going to die in a car accident by January 1st or the 2nd of 2019, which did not happen. During and after the conversation, Vallow told Gibb that Daybell, Chad Daybell, had informed her that while Charles had not physically died in an accident, that his spirit had left his body and had been replaced by another spirit, which was dark. The dark spirit's name is Ned Schneider. You know, geez, what a joke. That's exactly what we were talking about. Gibb has informed law enforcement that the word zombie was introduced weeks after the initial conversation to describe an individual whose spirit has left their body and been replaced by another spirit. The new spirit inhabiting a person or zombie's body was always a dark spirit. At some point after Gibb first learned this doctrine from Vallow and Daybell, she was informed by Vallow and Daybell that they believed it was their mission to rid the world of zombies. Basically, a zombie, though, is whoever doesn't like Lori or Chad or does anything disparaging to them, they are zombies, right? At some point after Gibb learned that this doctrine from Vallow and Daybell, she was informed by Vallow and Daybell that they believed it was their mission to rid the world of zombies. When Vallow initially spoke to Gibb about getting rid of zombies, she spoke about saying prayers to remove dark spirits from the human bodies they had inhabited. Remember that? Like, you'd have these things where Chad would go into a closet and shit. Teleportation. This information has been corroborated by electronic communications made by Vallow and Daybell. After the death of Daybell's wife on October 19th, Tammy, Melanie Gibb was informed by Charles that when a person became a zombie, their original spirit left their body and entered limbo. Oh my God. Wow. And it's trapped and cannot progress to paradise. Vallow then informed Gibb that for the person's original spirit to be free from limbo, the person's physical body had to die. So that's exactly how I explained it earlier. Despite the teaching that a physical body needed to die, Gibb reports she was never told by Vallow or Daybell that they planned to carry out physical killings themselves. Well, they didn't. They had Alex do them. At the time Gibb was told this information by Vallow, she was still under the belief that JJ was with his grandma, Kay Woodcock, and that Tylee was at BYU, Idaho. Melanie Gibb has further informed RPD that sometime in the spring of 2019, before the death of Charles Vallow, that Lori Vallow called Tylee a zombie. So let's see. Melanie Gibb was further informed that the Rexburg Police Department that sometime in the spring of 2019, So that was even before Charles was killed. Before the, yeah, there it says right there. Before the death of Charles Vallow, that Lori Vallow called Tylee a zombie. She was a 4.1 dark. Gibb was on the phone with Lori and heard Lori call Tylee a zombie, to which Tylee responded, "Not me, Mom." Upon the unsealing of my probable cause affidavit in State versus Daybell, Gibb spoke with me and clarified that Lori herself told Gibb that Tylee responded to being called a zombie by saying, "Not me, Mom. Not me, Mom." I'm not sure what the inflection is. Like, "Not me, Mom." Or was she like scared to be called that? Or was it just, "I'm not a zombie"? You know, like, was it funny to her? Gibb did not hear Tylee say these words herself. This arose out of Lori requiring Tylee to babysit JJ, and Tylee did not want to. Lori Vallow also told Gibb that Tylee had turned into a zombie when she was 12 or 13, which was approximately the same time Tylee had become difficult to deal with. Right. So as soon as you're a problem for Lori, you're a zombie. Right? And the only way to free, to deal with the zombie, to free the original soul. So here's the thing, is like Lori and Chad, they think they're heroes, right? Because they're freeing the original souls that are trapped in limbo, and their physical being has been taken over by a evil spirit. And somehow they're tethered together in some way where once the physical body is killed, it then frees the original soul, thus Tylee, to go to paradise. So without the intervention of Lori and Chad, JJ and Tylee would have been stuck in some hellhole somewhere. Of course, they'd still be alive, physically, but they would be stuck in a hellhole somewhere. But thankfully for the hard work of Lori and Chad, they were able to free their souls. So instead of having a trial, let's put a 1 if we think there should be a parade instead. Okay. See, you made people laugh too, Gray. Yeah, okay. Well, definitely, I think there should be a ticker tape parade for both of them. I mean, we've all changed our mind, right? Yeah. Let's see. So this arose out of Lori requiring Tylee to babysit. Yeah, we already did. Okay, Gibb was further informed me that she was told by Daybell and Vallow that they held the religious belief that they were part of the Church of the Firstborn, and their mission is that church was to lead the 144,000 mentioned in the book of Revelation. On July 26, 2020, a search warrant was served on Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow in Kauai, Hawaii, where they were living, and on their vehicle. The children were not found with Chad and Lori in Hawaii, and no evidence was found to suggest they were living with Chad and Lori. Through this investigation, we have discovered that J.J. Vallow was registered at Kenny Elementary School in Rexburg the first week of September 2019. Kennedy's school was informed that J.J. had an individual education plan due to his autism. Kenny Elementary was in the process of creating a new IEP for J.J. On September 23, 2019, J.J. had an unexcused absence. It should be noted that originally in our investigation, we believed that J.J. was in school on September 23rd, but upon review of his school records, we found that he was not and had the unexcused absence. On September 24th, 2020, Lori Vallow called Vicki Barton of the Madison School District and informed her that J.J. was going to Louisiana with her grandparents and wouldn't be home until the end of October or maybe later. On October 29th, Madison School District records indicate that J.J. would be homeschooled. During the searches of Vallow's apartment in Rexburg and subsequent searches of her apartment in Kauai, No homeschooling materials were ever found. Well, that's right, because he's not alive at this point. Wow, why am I going to jail? What'd I do? I know you want to send me to jail from earlier, but, you know, I just, man, it's crazy. Let's see. Thank you, Tina. During searches of Al's apartment in Rexburg and subsequent searches of her apartment in Kauai, no homeschooling materials were found. As mentioned, the last verifiable sighting of Tylee was in Yellowstone National Park on September 8, 2019. Photographs established she was there with her mother, Lori Vallow, her brother, JJ. I haven't seen any of the photos with Lori in them. They're probably out there, though. And her uncle, Alex Cox. They drove there in Alex's silver Ford F-150. This trip was further established by tracking the GPS cell tower connections and Google account information on Alex Cox's phone. The Cellular Analysis Survey Team is an FBI unit that provides analysis of cell phone records and presents the information to law enforcement. CAST has analyzed Alex Cox's phone and provided the location information mentioned in paragraph 25. The CAST analysis provided the location of Cox's phone. Due to my training and experience and common knowledge, I am aware that most individuals now keep their cell phones with them at all times, and the location of an individual's phone can be used to establish the location of the owner of the phone. In its accurate system, CAST as further information informed law enforcement that Cox's phone exited the west entrance of Yellowstone National Park at 1640. So that's when they left on the 8th. His phone appeared to be at Buckaroo Barbecue Grill in West Yellowstone at 1845. I mean, this is crazy. I think I have all this in here. Actually, let's go like that. And I have so many pings in here. So let's see, let's just go to that place. Buckaroo. Buckaroo's Barbecue. Yeah, I don't know. Do I have? I think I already have a pin there. There it is. Okay. So I guess they went and ate here. You know what's amazing is that they want to take photographs and smile and feed zombies. It's amazing. So there it is right there. Buckaroo Bill's Barbecue. Let's see. His phone appeared to be at Buckaroo's Barbecue Grill, West Yellowstone, Montana at 6:45 until 7:02. So let's see if I have that. Yep, 16:45 to 7:02 on there. There we go. Then Cox then returned to Rexburg, Madison County, Idaho at approximately 8:37. The phone was then at Lori's apartment, number 175, until 9:35, at which time Cox appears to go to the Maverick on Main Street. Which, isn't that a gas station? Let's see. I have it all right here. So it was 6:45, and then the apartment, and then there we go. That doesn't look right. Wait, where is this one? Oh yeah, that's the barbecue. So then they drove all the way home. So it goes like this. So let's just do it in the order here. So like here's the west entrance right here to the park, right? And the next place they went was the barbecue right here, Buckaroo Bill's. Then, about 2 hours later at 8:37, they drove all the way back over here to Lori's apartment in the apartment complex. Then at 9:43, Alex goes over to the PM Maverick, which is right here. Which is let's see, apartment number 175, at which time Cox appeared to go to the Maverick on Main Street in Rexburg. Cox then went back to Lori's apartment from 2244. So it's kind of interesting that he, it doesn't take that long to drive that distance, but maybe he was at his own apartment, but then went back to hers. Because it doesn't take an hour to drive from that place back home. So anyways, Cox then went back to Lori's apartment from 10:44 to 11:15. At 23:44, Cox's phone is located at his residence at apartment 107. So this is on the 8th, I think. Then on Monday, September 9th at midnight, it looks like it, and let's see, from 12 o'clock to 12:44, Cox's phone was located at his apartment at 107, so he's still there. However, at 2:42 in the morning to 3:37, Cox is located again at Vallow's apartment. So she goes over to Lori's apartment to talk about something, where Vallow lived with Tylee and JJ. This is significant not only because he is there in the middle of the night, but also because this is the only time, this is pretty creepy right here, this is the only time in September he appears to go over to Vallow's apartment between midnight and 6 a.m. So out of all the times, and what they're implying here is JJ has never been seen again, Tylee, excuse me, from September 8th. Now we're into September 9th early in the morning, and she's never seen again, but she was seen on the 8th at various places. She obviously made it home, and now you wonder, is this the time frame where Tylee's killed, right? So right here it says, however, at 2:42 to 3:37, Cox is located at Vallow's apartment, where Vallow lived with Tylee and JJ. JJ's still alive for another couple weeks. This is significant not only because he is there in the middle of the night, but also because this is the only time, and guess what? That means JJ might have seen something, and he might have kept repeating it over and over and over, right? Well, thanks, Patty. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see that. A lot of people claim they have, just like on the Kylie Rodney case, people claim I got the satellite footage, and it was totally bogus. It was, so a lot of people claim things. It'd be cool if they really did find that. I'd like to see it. But, it wouldn't shock me at all if it exists, because there's satellite companies that you can pay money to get. So anyways, this is significant not only because he is there in the middle of the night, so Alex is in the middle of the night over at Lori's apartment, but never had been before, but also because this is the only time in September he appears to go over to Vallow's apartment between midnight and 6 a.m. At 4:37 in the morning, Cox went back to his own apartment until in Unit 107 until 8:59 in the morning. At 9:21, he was located at a property with the address of 202 North 1900 East Rexburg, which is the residence of Chad Daybell. Yeah, so Chad lives right here. This was his property. Okay. And so that means Alex is over here in the morning. I wonder why didn't they just do this in the middle of the night? It seems kind of... he was located at a property with the address 202 North 1900 Rexburg, which is the residence of Daybell. It should be noted that while Chad Daybell's address is listed as Rexburg, it is actually located in Fremont County, Idaho. The 921 reading is a GPS data point that places him behind the home on Daybell's property. So this is an actual, like, they can narrow it down with triangulation or Wi-Fi and all this kind of stuff. So it's a GPS data point. This isn't the same thing that was in the Ron Logan document. Okay, they didn't mention that. GPS data point, and places him behind the home on Daybell's property east of the barn. So let's see. So there's the house. Look how crazy this is. Here's the house, and east of the barn, right over here. Right over in this area. I mean, that's nuts. Okay? This is where they found... Okay, so let me just tell you, I'll throw it out there. JJ was found over here. He was killed a couple weeks later. Tylee was found right over here, right where Alex Cox's phone pings. Okay? 100%. He was located at the property with the address. It is actually located in Fremont. The 921 reading is a GPS data point and places him behind the home on Daybell's property east of the barn. Cox's phone was still at Daybell's residence an hour and 17 minutes later. At 10:47, his phone shows a hit at the city of St. Anthony. At this time, we are unable to tell if he was actually inside the city limits of St. Anthony. St. Anthony is about a 5-minute drive from the Daybell's residence, or if this was a cell tower ping on his phone while he was still at Daybell's residence. Yeah, I mean, that shit can happen. Switches towers. At 10:57 to 11:39, Cox is located at the Daybell's property. At 11:52 to 12:02, just noon, he was at Daybell's Day Taco in Rexburg. He appears to spend most of the rest of the day in his apartment. Thanks, Plato. Through this investigation, the Rexburg Police Department and FBI have seized, searched, and analyzed multiple cellular devices pursuant to search warrants. On June 1st, 2020, I was informed by Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI that FBI had been examining a phone believed to be owned by Tammy Daybell. The FBI found a text conversation between Tammy... Listen out, this is nuts right here, you got. Tammy and Chad on September 9th, 2019, which is the day after the last known sighting of Tylee in Yellowstone. So look at this. The same day that... Let me just summarize this for you. So Tylee was over at Yellowstone. They stopped over at the barbecue place. Then they come home. JJ and Tylee go to sleep. Then Alex, in the middle of the night, creeps over to Lori's house. I think something obviously happened to Tylee. Then at some point in the morning, Tylee's body is driven over to Chad's property. And that, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11 in the morning, something like that. And then Chad has a conversation with his wife that same afternoon. And listen to how this thing goes. Let's see. I was informed by Special Agent. The FBI found a text conversation. And this was... The FBI found a text conversation between Tammy and Chad on September 9th, 2019. Tammy is the wife that's now dead. Which is the day after the last known sighting of Tylee and the same day that Alex was at the property. For hours. That text conversation reads as follows. Well, oh boy, I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storms. That'll explain why there's a fire going on, sweetheart. doesn't say that, but while I did so, I spotted a big, I was sitting there burning debris. Yeah, it was crazy, man. This massive raccoon, just went running along the fence. I, being a superhero, hustled to get my gun, and lo and behold, the raccoon was still walking along that fence. I got close enough. That one shot did the trick. He probably went, like that. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times, Fun times. And then Daybell said again, gonna shower now and then go right for a while at BYU. Love you. Tammy said, hey, good for you. Daybell said, I'm back home now at 2:48. I found the text suspicious because raccoons are normally nocturnal animals and not regularly out during the day. Matt Regan, it was more suspicious that he was explaining away a fire and maybe using shovels and digging holes. Or maybe that could be a smell of burned meat. That sounds sick, but that's probably why he was trying to say that. The Prices informed me that the fire pit in the back of the Daybell's property was hardly ever used until the last few months. Regan informed me that there appeared to be frequent bonfires in the pit on the Daybell property over the last few months, probably just to kind of keep burning what was down there. On June 2nd, 2020, Detective Bruce Mattingly of the Fremont County Sheriff's Office contacted Samantha Gwilliam, who is the sister of Tammy Daybell. He asked her if she was aware of a pet cemetery on the Daybell's property in Idaho. She informed him that she was aware of the pet cemetery and stated that both she and Tammy were pet people and that they had both had pet cemeteries. When asked the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property, she stated that it was east of the Red Barn and near the fire pit. On June 4, 2020, I spoke with Samantha and she informed me that she was aware of the location of the pet cemetery, and apparently now there's humans in it, because Tammy had shown it to her. Samantha was then shown an aerial photograph of the Daybell property, and she pointed to the same area near the fire pit where Alex Cox's phone pinged. Is that crazy or what? I think this is a fire pit and maybe the pet cemetery, maybe in that area. Let me just... So this is October 2020. Is there one from... Okay, that's 2015. So this is 2020. So this is after... Yeah, they've already been here and, gone through and found the bodies and everything at that point. I think it was in June or something. Yeah, so this is September of 2021. But I think it was right here based on photographic information that I was looking at. The above facts established that Alex Cox appeared to be at Daybell's property on September 9, 2019 until at least 11:39, just before noon. Chad sent the text to Tammy about burning debris and shooting and burning the raccoon in the pet cemetery only 14 minutes later. The pet cemetery referenced by Chad Daybell is located at the same location as most of the pings on Alex Cox's phone. I mean, are you guys following along here? It's just crazy. These guys had amazing forensic work. Yeah, and by the way, I know we're just doing a regular, I'm just reading a lot tonight, but if you guys like to help out the channel, become a channel member like Jennifer just did there, welcome. We also had another person, PKN Bit, earlier. That was cool. Yeah, become a channel member or super chats, PayPals, all that stuff helps out. Whenever I read, though, we slow down dramatically. Like, let's see. So, That's the unfortunate part, but hopefully you guys are getting what we're going through here. Let's see. Gibb informed me, okay, on June 3rd, 2020, I again interviewed Gibb and her boyfriend, David Warwick, in Pleasant Grove, Utah. So Melanie Gibb, the crazy one, and her boyfriend, David Warwick, I think they actually went to Rexburg to record a podcast. We discussed in depth the weekend of September 22nd and 23rd. See, they went down there. Melanie Gibb was in Rexburg with Lori and Chad on September 22nd and 23rd, which is really only 12 days after, 12 or 13 days after Alex was in the backyard burying Tylee's body. But at this time, JJ is still alive, right at this time. On June 3rd, 2020, I again interviewed Melanie Gibb and her boyfriend David Warwick in Pleasant Grove, Utah. We discussed in depth the weekend of September 22nd and 23rd in 2019 due to the fact that both Gibb and Warwick stayed at Lori Vallow's residence. So, JJ would be there in Rexburg that weekend. Gibb informed me, consistent with information she has previously given the law enforcement, that she arrived in Rexburg on September 19th, 2019. Soon after she arrived, Lori Vallow informed Gibb that JJ had become a zombie. See, there you go. The kiss of death. If they call you a zombie, you're in trouble. Hey, thanks, Kit Kat. Wow. So soon after she arrived, Lori Vallow informed Gibb, hey, Melanie, listen, come here. JJ's a zombie, for God's sakes. Well, hey, Lori, it probably didn't help that you didn't give him any of his autism medication for like months. Well, that's a good point, Melanie. But we needed him to become a zombie because he knows too much. And that makes me feel like I can then kill him without having any repercussions because I'm doing the right thing. And by the way, his original soul will be happy. Yeah, he's just... Soon after she arrived, Lori Vallow informed Gibb that JJ had become a zombie and pointed out behaviors such as sitting still and watching TV. Wow! Whoa! He sat still, claiming JJ said he loves Satan and an increased vocabulary is evidence. Okay, so he's sitting still and watching TV. He doesn't normally do that. He's always moving around. And now he claims he loves Satan and increased vocabulary, so he's able to talk now and everything, because he's actually being taken over by an evil spirit. So that must have been about when Chad changed what he had as his list, because he had JJ as a light character at some point. Gibb observed JJ's behavior and felt it to be the same as she had always observed it. The last time Gibb and Warwick... So when Gibb was watching JJ, she was like, no, he's the same to me. The last time Gibb and Warwick verifiably saw JJ was the night of September 22nd, 2019. Warwick informed us that it was late and that Gibb, Vallow, and Warwick were going to do a podcast together. Warwick said that Vallow told him, Lori told him that JJ was acting up. And so Alex Cox took JJ to his apartment, and I think that's when he died. To his apartment in the complex. When Cox returned later that night, he was carrying JJ, who appeared to be asleep. So he might have been like totally knocked out right there, or even dead at that moment, with his head on Cox's shoulder. Warwick specifically remembered this because he saw it as a tender moment. Warwick further informed us that when he woke up the morning of September 23rd, 2019, he asked Vallow where JJ was. So, hey Lori, where's JJ? He was here last night. This was between 8 and 9 a.m. Vallow informed Warwick and Gibb that JJ had been acting like a zombie and had been crawling on the kitchen cabinetry and had gotten on top of the cabinetry in the space between the cabinetry and the ceiling. She informed Warwick and Gibb that when JJ had climbed up on the cabinetry, that he had knocked a picture of Jesus off the refrigerator. Oh my lord, are you kidding me, my lord? Vallow then informed Warwick and Gibb that Cox had come and taken JJ. At no time during this interaction with Vallow did Gibb or Warwick believe that JJ was in danger. Vallow had not said anything about harming JJ or having Cox harm JJ. Yeah. Let's see. Just a second. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. These kind of satellite shots like that. It's hard to really know. I'm not going to play those. I'm not going to show it. Hard to know. Let's see. Could be true. I mean, they're just satellite shots on Daily Mail from whoever that reporter guy was. All right. Vallow had not said anything about harming JJ. So now we're moving on to the next part. It says, approximately 1 week after Gibbs' September visit to Rexburg, Lori Vallow informed Melanie Gibb that she had arranged for JJ to go live with his grandma, Kay Woodcock. So that's why she thought the stuff that she thought later on. Vallow further told Gibb she had told Kay that she had cancer in order to convince Kay Woodcock to take JJ. Vallow further elaborated to Gibb that she had traveled with JJ and handed him off to Kay in an airport. The FBI CAS team has analyzed Alex Cox's movement the morning of September 23rd. Now, here's where we get to the, so on the 22nd, they're doing the podcast, and, that's when you see JJ over the shoulder of Alex, appearing to be asleep as he goes into the house. Matt, at that point, he might be on drugs or something. I mean, we don't really know. But then remember in the morning when Melanie Gibb and her boyfriend wake up and say, hey, where the hell is JJ? and then Lori says, Alex has him. Well, here we go. The FBI CAS team has analyzed Alex Cox's movement the morning of September 23rd. At 9:55 a.m., Alex is again on Chad Daybell's property. He was there until 10:12. The pings on his phone locate Alex near the pond. I mean, look how accurate that is, man. So the thing is this is a pond here. It doesn't look like one on this image, but it does, there's some water in that shot right there. And that's where they dug up JJ, was right next to the pond. So that's really accurate ping information. It's GPS information. The pings on his phone locate Alex near the pond on Chad's property at the northern edge of his property. Chad Daybell's property is located in Salem, Idaho, in Fremont County. On June 3rd, 2020, I asked Special Agent Ricky Wright on the FBI to analyze the frequency of Alex Cox's visit to Chad Daybell's property during the month of September 2019. His response was, per your request, I checked the visits by Alex to Chad's house again. There were only 4 visits by Alex during the month of September. These were on 9/6, so that's 2 days before the last sighting of Tylee. 9/9 is the day that Tylee was being buried. 9/23, that's the day that JJ was being buried. And 9/25, from 10:05 to 10:22. During the 2 visits on 9/6 and 9/25, all the pings were in and around the house, and there were no pings anywhere in the backyard. Yeah, see, that was right. The 9/6 and 9/25. See, those are the 2 dates. I even just said that. It was the 923 are the two where he's burying. The other ones, they're just at the house. As you can see, these visits were all short, about 11 minutes and 17 minutes. Like the one 923 is 17 minutes. The visit on 99 was only long visit, approximately 2.5 hours. That's because Tylee was larger, right? Much larger, and had to, they burned her in the fire pit. But I think they probably just dug like Chad probably was on his property and just dug a hole, and then Alex came out and put him, put JJ in the hole over there. On June 9th, 2020, a search warrant was executed at Daybell's residence and property with the assistance of a local FBI ERT team. We located multiple sites of interest. These sites were identified as corresponded to the cellular data of Alex Cox's phone when he was on the property mentioned in paragraph 1216. The first site of interest was located on the north side of the pond, near the north edge of the property. This site corresponded with the 2 GPS pings from Alex Cox's phone on September 23, 2019. A patch of ground was located that appeared to be disturbed. The weed growth on top of the disturbed ground was shorter than the surrounding weed growth. What appeared to be sod etching was also noticed. The disturbed area was approximately 4 feet by 2.5 feet. Members of the FBI ERT team removed the top layer of sod. Underneath the layer of sod were several large flat rocks. The rocks were removed and 2 piles of flat paneling were found. The paneling was removed and investigators exposed a round object covered in black plastic. Similar paneling was found in a barn located on the property. Upon exposing the round object covered in black plastic, a strong odor was noticed. A FBI ERT member used a small sharp instrument and made a small incision in the plastic, and a layer of white plastic was observed. An incision was made into the white layer of plastic, exposing what appeared to be human remains, the crown of a head covered in light brown hair. The remaining dirt around this object was methodically removed, exposing what appeared to be a body wrapped in black plastic. The plastic appeared to be tightly wrapped around the body and secured with gray duct tape. Cheryl Anderson, associate professor of anthropology at Boise State University, was present on scene and advised the remains found near the pond appear to be human. As noted above, the GPS of Alex Cox's phone pinged twice on September 23, 2019, near the first site where human remains were found. The GPS records indicate that Cox was at the location for a total of 17 minutes on September 23, 2019. Due to the depth and width of the grave the body was located in and the rocks and paneling found in the grave, it would be impossible, that's what I was thinking, for one person to have dug that grave, placed a body in it, and placed the rocks and paneling in the grave, and covered it back up in 17 minutes. A second site of interest was located behind a red unattached outbuilding located roughly in the center of the property near a fire pit. Next to the fire pit is an area used as a pet cemetery. This site correlated to the several GPS pings of Alex Cox's phone on September 9th, 2019. Ground in the area was probed with a steel pole, and several areas of disturbed ground were located. During a search of this ground, a buried cat and dog remains were found. No raccoon remains were located. A backhoe was used to dig further layers of dirt. While doing this, bricks were located approximately a foot below the ground. Once the bricks were discovered, the soil was examined, and what appeared to be 2 bones were located. Based on the condition of the first bones found, Cheryl Anderson was not able to determine whether the bones were human. Now, methodically, the dirt in the area was searched and several other items of interest were found, including other bones, charred tissue, and charred bones Cheryl Anderson indicated that additional bones were charred and uncharred, and tissue found were human remains. Investigators provided photos of some of the partial remains that were found at the pet cemetery. Dr. Getz was able to identify those remains as being non-adult human remains. Non-adult. Huh. That's weird. So these are the ones at the pet cemetery? Oh, non-adult. Like, I guess that's... Tylee, I guess, isn't considered an adult, but... Around the time the head mentioned in paragraph 44 through 44 was discovered, Chad Daybell was observed leaving his daughter's residence in a gray SUV. So he's like, holy shit. When you watch the special, he actually has a phone call with Lori, if you can believe it, while she's in jail. And he's sitting there saying, they're searching the property. And she's like, oh, they are? In the house? And he goes, no, the property. She goes, oh, shit. So they both, that is so strong evidence that they both knew right at that moment. Yeah. But, come on, you guys, we got tonight's just like any other night. Right now we're about a third of what we normally do on a night. So, is it the topic that we're reading, or what's going on? Let's see. What channel are you talking about? The one with the Julie and all them? Around the time the head mentioned the paragraph 44, I had other officers. They noticed Chad leaving, so he's like, "Oh my God, they found it!" So he takes off, right? And then I have the video of that. Yeah, so here he is right here. So this guy drives by, and right there's Chad in the gray shirt and that baseball hat. Right there, and then there's that yellow house in the background there. So I think what we do is we have it's just down the road, so it's right here, I think. If I got this right a long time ago. Yeah, there's the yellow house right there. Oh, that's we thought that was interesting. There was a cop parked there, even in this old 2009 Street View, right where he was pulled over. He was right there. Yeah. Oh boy. See, on June 11, 2020, I observed the autopsy of the body described. The body had not yet been removed from the plastic covering. As the body was uncovered and the face exposed, it was clear to me that it was the body of J.J. Vallow. The body was well preserved. While I had never met J.J. Vallow during his life, I was familiar with his face due to seeing many pictures and videos of him. I was further familiar with his haircut in the pictures I had seen of him in Yellowstone, which was shaved on the sides and the back and longer on the top. J.J. was further identified by Brandon Boudreaux, who was shown an autopsy photograph of the body. Oh boy. Yeah. On June 11, 2020, I also observed the autopsy of the human remains described in paragraph 51 through 55. It was not possible to identify what happened up in here. Yeah, the dogs. Yeah. Despite identifying Tylee, law enforcement was advised that it would still be wise to obtain a DNA verification. On January 16, 2020, a child protection action was filed by the state of Idaho in Madison County. The case number, the court ordered Vallow to produce JJ and Tylee, and that was January 16, 2020, but that was 6 months prior. Thanks, Cairo. Makes me, I don't know if I'm ever going to be be able to do a reading show again. It's crazy. It's brutal. Alright, so that is that. We'll probably just cut this one short here. So you know, hopefully that put everything together for you guys a little bit. You know, you also have the attempt on Tammy's life, where she was at home, and where is this? Is it this one? Yeah, right here. So on October 9th, so JJ's killed on September 23rd. October 9th, Tammy's time was up, man. She needed to be taken out. Hey, thanks, Vicky H. Something really weird just happened, and I want you to know so you can watch out. I had gotten home and parked in our front driveway. As I was getting stuff out of the back seat, a guy wearing a ski mask was suddenly standing by the back of my car with a paintball gun. He shot at me several times, although I don't think it was loaded. I yelled for Chad, and he ran off around the back of the house. I have no idea what his motive was, and he never spoke even after I asked him several times what he thought he was doing. I was about to smack him with the freezer meals from enrichment tonight when I decided to yell for Chad instead. Right, so Chad was there, and he knew that was Alex. So Alex just missed again. He missed Brandon as well. So he missed Brandon, and then he missed her. And so we know, I guarantee it, that was Alex Cox, and it was a real gun, but Chad told her it was a paintball gun just so she wouldn't think much about it. And then now we know that she was killed not too long after that in her sleep. And then she was buried. He didn't have her cremated or anything like that. And then through the investigation, it turns out she was exhumed, and Alex died the day after she was exhumed. Almost exactly the same way Tammy died. Interestingly. Yeah. Yeah, I think Tammy seemed like she was pretty nice. Yeah, one of these days it'll be out there. But we've gone over that document before, but I thought I'd do it again. You know, people have been watching the shows on Netflix, so at that point, they left out the incredible ping information. They didn't show that. I mean, it literally places him there on the 9th and the 23rd, both the days that they were never seen again. So Tylee was never seen again after the 8th, buried on the 9th. JJ was never seen again on the 22nd, buried on the 23rd. Then just a week or so later, Tammy shot at and missed. Then she ends up dying. It's crazy. Looney Tune stuff. The thing is, if you put this in a movie, it would look stupid. You know? Let me see if I can find the other one. I think I have one that's further down. Where's Tammy? Oh, there she is right there. So look at that. She died on October 19th. Let's see. What was that? How many days? October 9th. 10 days after being shot at in her driveway. She then dies in the middle of the night sleeping, and then if you watch the special, he's like, I got great news. I got great news. It's just, she's moved on to the... It's just, it's unreal. Well, I kept building the flowchart over time, one Sly Angel, but Anyways, okay, I'm just going to call it a night, you guys. So thank you to... I got to get out of here. I'm going to do something else. So thank you to... welcome to PK in Bit, Kathy Fredmaker, Samantha Sander, Cairo, Jessica Schubach, Tina Susser, Cheyenne R, Ben Hills became a member, thank you. Marilyn Riley, Candalee Woodward Stone, Cindy Leon, Dreamin' Girl, Sooner History, Loretta Reyes, Dan Carr, Kit Kat, Cairo, and Vicky H. But yeah, that was one of our worst nights we ever had in terms of the super chats and everything. Like the worst in about 3 years. Horrible. Not sure what the deal is, but you know how it works here. Every single night we try to raise funds to allow me to keep doing what I'm doing, and then I donate over 50% of the net revenue to true crime related charities. Yeah. Well, they needed to... the Rexburg... Not the Reck... The police department in Arizona, they're the ones that blew it. They should have been way more interested in that stuff. Like, literally just... when they saw what was going on, they should have been really dialed in, but they weren't. So... They were just almost like mesmerized, as they said in the show about Lori. I don't know, Miss Mom. All right. Well, thank you guys. We aren't going to be able to spin for anything, but I appreciate you guys coming on tonight, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Who knows what we'll have. I was going to do some cold cases out of Canada, but now I'm nervous to do anything. Let's see. Yeah, so. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. See you later. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gragel's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.